Ladies and gentlemen, from the studios in the wrestling capital of the South, it's another terrific episode of The Bengebuster Show. Please welcome your host, Tony Binge.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Bengebuster Show, coming to you right here in the studios of Charlotte, North Carolina, the Queen City, former home of the Nature Boy Ric Flair and the Carolina Panthers, and so much more. NASCAR, and of course, yours truly and my co-host, which I want to bring on right now. I'm talking about none other than Mr. Rock and Roll himself, Playboy Chris Plano. Chris, what is going on?
Oh, Tony, thank you for that introduction. Woo, we are rocking and rolling. We are in the dog days of summer here into the middle of July, and things are cooking. On the music scene, the pro wrestling scene, on the news front, you name it, it is cooking, and we are high flying.
Man, it has been crazy, and I know, fans, it's been a couple of weeks since our last podcast, and I just want to say I'm excited because the Bengebuster Show has gotten an upgrade. I have now purchased and currently using the new, and I'm not trying to give them a free plug, but here it is, the Rodecaster Pro 2 podcast. Now this thing has been upgraded. It's no longer just a podcast machine. Man, Chris, I can record music. I can do Zoom call. Man, I can do everything on this thing just about. I'm excited to use it tonight here on our first episode back. But Chris, for 2.5 years, we talked about the stadium tour, and June 28th, man, we were rocking and rolling in the Queen City down there at Panther Stadium. Man, what a wonderful, terrific time that we had there in the Panther Stadium, watching our favorite bands, Motley Crue, Def Leppard, Poison, Joan Jett. Man, if the Panther Stadium had a roof, they would have blew it off.
Oh man, Tony, what a show, what a night. The stadium tour rolled into Charlotte, North Carolina. I want to say it was their 6th or 7th stop on the 2022 tour, and what a beautiful night weather-wise as well. You couldn't ask for a better night. It really wasn't that hot. It was a great summer night, crystal clear, and boy, did we see some rock and roll bands between Def Leppard, Poison, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, and Motley Crue. I don't think we're ever going to see a stadium tour like what we saw, and boy, they did not disappoint. I know we've seen a lot of different critiques and criticisms online, but hey, I was happy to be there, and it was great to see the boys live in action again.
Yeah, and Chris, I'll tell you, man, what a tremendous feeling came over me. Because as everyone knows, I've talked about this before on the podcast, but the last time that I saw Motley Crue live was in 2016 in L.A. at the in Los Angeles at the Staples Center, New Year's Eve, and then they played, of course, a couple probably another 45 minutes into the new year. 2016, and that was the last time that Motley Crue played live as a band together, and I was there for that. And Chris, I can't tell you the emotions, the goosebumps when I heard them come out on stage there in Charlotte, in my hometown. So it was kind of cool. I got to see Motley Crue play their final show in their hometown, and then I got to see them again in my hometown. For the reunion. And man, like you said, a lot of mixed emotions online, people talking about this and talking about that, but I believe all my heart, man, Motley Crue brought their A game to Charlotte. And incidentally, one of the cool things about Charlotte was the first few shows they played, Tommy had broken ribs and only played 2 or 3 songs, and man, in our hometown, Chris, he played the whole entire show, and didn't even mention about a broken rib. He just he told the people that he was happy and glad to to be back there in Charlotte. And man, what a tremendous time that was. And as a matter of fact, what I want to do right now, I've got I'm going to pull up a video, or not a video, but some audio that I recorded at the show with Tommy Lee coming out and talking to the great crowd on hand there in Charlotte. Here it is right here.
Holy fuck! Look what got everybody out of the fucking house, huh? Holy
that was it right there, man. Tommy, he was happy to be back there in Charlotte, and man, I was happy to see him.
Man, we really were in for a treat, Tony. I mean, right. Tommy Lee was playing a short set, maybe some nights as short as maybe as only 4 songs, and then coming out playing the piano for Home Sweet Home. But, but hey, he played the whole set in Charlotte. I'm not sure how many people did realize it or were kind of following that news, but he did it so flawlessly. If you didn't really know what was happening with his rib situation behind the scenes, it felt like he was behind the drums the whole time. I mean, he didn't miss a beat and kept up with the boys out there, Nikki, Mick, and Vince, and man, the place was just absolutely rocking.
Oh yeah, and it was a great, a tremendous show. I can't remember exactly how many songs Motley Crue played, but they cranked out all the hits, and they also played the song from their latest television show, The Dirt. I was waiting for Machine Gun Kelly to pop out there, but because I know he was in Charlotte just a couple of days before Motley Crue got there. But we didn't see Machine Gun Kelly, but we definitely saw Motley Crue. And but I'll tell you another cool thing that happened there, Chris. Not only you and I got to hang out for a little bit, and tailgate, before going into the stadium. And then of course I went to the show with a couple high school buddies. But the coolest thing, I don't know how many people that the Panther Stadium holds, but I know the place was sold out. It was packed, it was jam packed. But Chris, I'm sitting there on the floor, and I look over in front of me, just one aisle in front of me, but over to the left, as far as I could see. And I look over and I see this girl like looking at me, and she kept looking at me, and I'm like, man, this girl's checking me out or something. There's something going on. I look over my shoulder, make sure I wasn't missing a fight or something. But as soon as Joan Jett left the stage, the lady's husband sat down, and I realized, hey, I know why she's looking at me. We went to school together. So I actually ran into some classmates that I hadn't saw since probably freaking middle school, and they remembered me. Of course, I mean, she does follow me, and she is on my Facebook, but how cool is it? As big as the stadium is, I've got people in front of me that I went to school with that I haven't seen. And then to top that off, I'm the guy I went there with, Andy, my friend Andy. He's like, so as we're waiting for Joan Jett, Poison came out and played. So now as we're waiting for them to tear down Poison stage and put up Motley Crue stage, he says, hey, my boss lady's sitting, on the other side here. Let's, I'm gonna say in the same section, just one section over. He asked me if I want to go with him to go say hi to her. I'm like, sure. So I go over to say hi, and turns out, Chris, it was my ex-girlfriend from middle school, which was his boss. God. And so I'm hanging out with her and her husband. But the thing that really blew my mind was her little sister was there with her. And Chris, here's the funny thing. So when me and this girl was hanging out, I think I was in like 9th grade or going into 9th grade, and she was going into the 8th grade. And but her sister was a freaking baby, like 2 years old, and now her sister's like 30. I'm like, it blew my mind. And I'm looking there watching her drink beer, and the last time I saw her, she was sucking on a bottle. I was like, man, this is freaking crazy. But it was also really cool to be able to, see them and meet them and hang out. And of course we talked about the old times and new times. And she told me, she's like, Tony, I watch you on Facebook. I see the things you do. And, man, you're really doing good for yourself. And I'm so happy for you. And I thought that was very classy of her. And, man, it was just so many memories, so many things happened at that show.
I know, it was like time sped up a little bit. I don't know. It was
but the thing is, Chris, I have to say, I don't know about you, but for me, that was definitely the longest concert I ever went to in my life. It's like 7 hours, right?
Yeah, it was all of 7 hours. If you went in right at, the doors opened at 3:30 and Classless Act, I heard, went on at 4. Unfortunately, we missed them. We were still outside by the cars, Tony, and meeting old friends, talking to people. I was hanging out with you, and finally, I think we got in a little after 5 o'clock. I want to say Joan Jett was halfway through her set, and it seemed like almost the right time to go in around that time and get settled in. And Joan did her thing, playing all her hits at the very end of her set, and then Poison was on right at 6 o'clock, and they did their thing, Tony, and the thing to really, talk about on the Poison, and we're talking about Tommy Lee and his situation, but the very next show is when Bret Michaels started having health issues on this tour, and Poison has been challenged pretty much ever since the Nashville, Tennessee show, which I believe was 2 nights later, with Bret performing or short sets or not doing meet and greets. And so they've had some challenges on this tour as well. But, hey, these guys are trugging along, and it's got another, 6-7 weeks to it.
Yeah, and like you said, he played Charlotte, and then like 2 days later, he wasn't able to perform because he gotten sick, and so it was very sad. So I was thankful after 2.5 years, we were lucky enough and got to not only see everyone play, but also Tommy play a complete full concert in his first one.
Right.
So I thought that was pretty amazing. So a good time. The week, now I do want to mention the week before, or not even the week, like a couple days before the stadium tour, I went down to Greensboro and hung out with old Bo Cephas, Hank Williams Jr. Hung out with him there in Greensboro. He played, 2.5 solid hours he cranked out all the hits and really rocked the Greensboro Coliseum, and that was really cool too. So I was very happy that over a span of 3 days I got to see my favorite country artist, and I got to see my favorite rock and roll artist. I couldn't have asked for a better time. And it was a good time. And, Chris, the rumors are going around. What are you thinking? Are we going to see Motley Crue on tour again next summer?
Well, I mean, so there's, and again, it goes back to the Charlotte show. I keep going back to that night, and then the things started, with Poison and Tommy Lee coming back. And then all of a sudden you started hearing rumors, of these bands having plans in 2023 and beyond the tour. And yeah, I think the answer right now is leaning yes. That I honestly think, Tony, we may see all 4 of these bands on tour next year in some capacity, whether a couple might be paired up or they might be doing their own thing or pairing up even with other acts. But again, they're fulfilling dates that were originally from 2020.
Yeah. And
they're fulfilling them now in 2022. So these bands may have already had plans in place to go back out in 2023, which I think the biggest surprise would be Motley Crue of the 4 to go back out. But, people are buzzing about the Shout at the Devil album, greatest hits kind of tour. Maybe they got it in there for one more go around. I don't know. But I have a gut feeling we will see all 4 bands in some way back out on the road next year. That's just my gut feeling that I have.
Yeah, I'm with you on that too, Chris. I really feel like that we are going to see Motley Crue out on the road next year. Poison as well, and who knows who else might come out and do something. But I'm excited. A lot, big things happening. Speaking of
I
it,
even sent you the article earlier today as well with Neil Schon and Journey, and
yeah, look, yeah. I mean, I think now a lot of these bands are seeing how much success Motley Crue, Def Leppard, and Poison are having this summer, and they're going to want to jump on this bandwagon with stadium tours too. So that actually may be the thing that we see happening in the future. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But I'm glad that Tony, we caught great weather. We saw all four bands. They played their full set list as we expected, and because some other cities have had it kind of rough a little bit with the weather, with some of the bands, with the Brett situation. Obviously, Tommy early on with the ribs. So it seems like the Charlotte show, was kind of the one to be at if you kind of wanted to see everything. So
yeah,
I think we lucked out for a Tuesday night in late June.
Yeah, for sure. It was a great time right there in Charlotte. And speaking of Charlotte, I just crashed in my studio here. But speaking of Charlotte, our good friends and great, fun wrestling organization that I've worked for plenty of times in the past. The NAWA has got a big show coming up next Friday, July the 29th, bell time 5:30 p.m. It's the Rage in the Cage. And it's going to be happening at Resident Culture Brewing Company, and that's at 2101 Central Avenue in Charlotte. They're going to have food trucks, beer, pro wrestling. It's every man's dream. And Chris, it's going to be an awesome event. Like I said, bell time 5:30. Come to Resident Culture, hang out with the wrestlers, have a beer, grab you a cheeseburger off one of the food trucks, and just have a great time watching some of the great wrestlers from the NAWA. To give you a quick lineup of the matches, we're going to have the Moonshine Express taking on yours truly, Tony Binge, and Craig Classic. Then we got Cario, Lindsay, and Zay Vega taking on the Allen Brothers. Jackson Cage and Dre White taking on AJ Frost and Nick Fury. JP Lehman, my old tag team partner, taking on Thomas Extreme. And then the legend, Chief Jay Eagle. I know you know this name, Chris.
Oh, yeah.
Taking on Big Donnie. And then we got Johnny Ryder taking on Will Bannon. And then the main event is the Rage in the Cage. And from what I understand, it's going to be almost like a cage match battle royal. Bring what you want to the ring. Come as you are. Last man standing is the winner. I can't wait. Chris, I'm excited for this.
Man, it sounds like it is going to be a good time at the brewery in Charlotte. What do you want? Cold beer, soft drinks, food trucks, and some good old pro wrestling. I mean, you can't ask for anything else. And, boy, it is going to be, from top to bottom, it looks like a solid card. I know, Tony, you got your work cut out for you that day. But, man, what a great way to come on out, and an exciting main event as well that looks like it's going to be a barn burner. Yeah,
it definitely is. NAWA's first show back in several weeks. They usually take off the summer because let's be honest, there's not a lot going on in the summer. Everybody's going on vacation. It's hard to, it's hard to draw a big crowd to an independent show during the summertime. So, it's definitely a good time to take a little break and and everybody can recharge their batteries. But This one's kind of like a warm up kind of deal. But it may be a warm up, but the action is going to be hot and heavy. And I know I can't wait to get there. And the cool thing, Chris, it's only just a few minutes from my house, not far from your house. So if you want to come out and drink some beers with me, hang out, and help me kick somebody's ass, man, come on down.
We might have to have some fun with this one, Tony, and see what's going on and talk a little smack as well at the same time. You never know.
Who knows? Maybe a live podcast right there at the Resident Culture.
You never know. But, hey, great brewery. And, God, there's just so many darn breweries in the Charlotte and the surrounding area. But, some great craft beer. And come on out and, and enjoy a nice summer afternoon into the evening and, have a great time in the Queen City.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be really fun. I can't wait for that. Now, staying on our wrestling talk, the big rumor, innuendos, whatever you want to call it, happening right now is Ric Flair's final match, Ric Flair's last match, July 31st in Nashville, Tennessee, Chris. Unless you've been living under a rock, I'm sure that everyone knows what's been going on as Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett attack Ric Flair in the parking lot with David Crockett watching on to set up this match, tag team match as the main event for this. They really threw me a swerve because my sources told me that it was going to be Ric Flair and FTR taking on Sting and the Rock and Roll Express. That was it, fans. That was the match that I was told was going to happen. But I guess Jay Lethal getting pissed off that he couldn't be on the show. All this has changed now. FTR not on the show. Sting not on the show. And now we've got a tag team grudge match, main event, Ric Flair and his son-in-law, Andrade, taking on Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. Chris, what do you think about this?
Well, Tony, this ever since the announcement, the match has really ebbed and flowed. There were talks of a singles match. There was talks of a 6-man tag, a regular tag. It's gone all over the place. And the amount of names that have been announced both publicly and privately has been just kind of crazy a little bit, in my opinion. The event's been moved to a couple of different venues in the Nashville area. I think they've settled finally on the auditorium. The match is an interesting one. I don't think it was on anyone's radar, personally, as far as both Flair's partner and opponents. Yeah, and I really don't even know many of the undercard matches as well. I know they're utilizing other promotions. There's international wrestlers on the show as well. Obviously, we know Jeff Jarrett is in town for SummerSlam the night before. We do know that he's a referee in the tag team title match, I believe, that evening for SummerSlam. I don't know. This could go a myriad of directions. There is really no history between, at least in my knowledge, of Jeff Jarrett and Ric Flair in the ring at any level. And from a tag team standpoint, it looks like Flair's a family member may be carrying the load that evening. Even more so now in a tag team versus a 6-man. Yeah.
And it's pretty daggone amazing the way this thing was set up. If you're in the business and what hardway is, that's definitely what happened during this, because you can hear Ric Flair in the video. And incidentally, if you want to see what we're talking about, go to RicFlairsLastMatch.com, and they actually had the video up. Just click on the first video, and it shows you Jay Lethal confronting Ric Flair in the parking lot. But man, talk about drawing some heat. They drew some heat. And
yeah, this is old school. This is definitely an old school tactic storyline.
Yeah.
Here, from the NWA storybook. I mean, how many times have we seen Dusty attacked and
right,
Nikita and Sting back in the day, and to set up angles, whether it be for the Great American Bash, Starrcade, whatever we're talking about. So this is definitely an old school, Ric Flair storyline here. And then, a nod to the Crockett's and the NWA and WCW and, yes, it has heat. It has build up. It fits because it's Ric Flair.
It's Ric Flair.
So it works.
Yes, exactly. Could
this kind of angle work in today's modern era? I don't know. You have to have that certain persona
right
for it to work.
Yeah.
But I think in this case it works.
Yeah, and it's like everything, almost everything that Ric Flair had done over the years worked. Like you said, if Ric Flair touched it, it worked. Except for maybe that Black Scorpion, the Black Scorpion deal. Maybe that wasn't his best highlight of his career. But incidentally, for whatever reason, hold on, Chris. The phone's ringing here on the Bengebuster Show. Let me see who this is.
Oh,
hello.
Why are you talking crap about the Black Scorpion?
Excuse me.
Whoa.
Hello. Who is this?
You come on this podcast and you talk crap about the Black Scorpion, and yet the Black Scorpion gimmick is really what kept WCW alive during that time. You understand that, right?
Well, I understand that the Black Scorpion. Chris, you got anything to say about this? I mean, fans, can you believe this? The Black Scorpion is on the Bengebuster Show.
Tony, I'm in shock. The Black Scorpion is here talking about his time. I mean, I'm shocked. How did he even get the phone number?
I'm not sure.
It's the Black Magic. As you know, the Black Scorpion was the master of black magic. So I am able to get the phone number to your stinking podcast, and I come on here and I listen to it, and you guys are making fun of the biggest angle that Ric Flair was ever a part of. And see, the thing is, the only reason why Ric Flair was the Black Scorpion is because WCW had offered me X amount of dollars and wanted me to lose. The Black Scorpion doesn't play that kind of game. I don't lose because of no reason. So I left. And then they put Ric Flair in there with my costume and really made it look like shit. But who knows?
Whoa.
The Scorpion could return. But right now, I'm on your podcast because you guys were making fun of me, and the Black Scorpion don't play that shit. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it, Scorpion. Chris, I am blown away, man. I have never had.
I'm blown away.
I've never had and the thing about it is, fans, the Black Scorpion is calling us, and this podcast is actually being recorded. It's not even live.
That's the power of the black magic, sir.
Chris,
wow, Tony,
I don't know what to say.
I'm in shock right now. I mean, the Scorpion might show up in Nashville, Tennessee next week for all we know.
I mean, if the Scorpion can get on the podcast, there's no reason why he can't come to Nashville, Tennessee, July 31st.
Exactly.
I don't.
You're right.
Woo, I'm blown away. This was a surprise tonight, Tony.
I'm gonna tell
Let me
you
tell you.
guys, I listen to this podcast and I like what you guys do, but please, in the future, don't make fun of the Black Scorpion, because the next time I'm gonna show up in the studio.
Tony, I'm going to heed his warning there.
Man, Chris, I am blown away. The Black Scorpion just came on the podcast, and just like a thief in the night, he's on and he's gone. But Chris, let's talk about this for a minute. Ric Flair's last match, okay? They're in Nashville, and we're talking the who's are going to be there because they're going to be doing the roast of Ric Flair, so it's not going to just be wrestlers and people like that are going to be roasting Ric Flair. I'm hearing Snoop Dogg's going to be there. I've heard him talk about a lot of people. The who's of the entertainment world are going to be there. But how awesome is this going to be to see Ric Flair in a tag match with his son-in-law of all people, and taking on Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. I mean, Chris, I don't know. Is it? You got to think about this. Ric Flair is in his 70s. Jeff Jarrett is in his 50s. Jay Lethal's probably in his early 40s. Man, I mean, how is Flair going to be able to withstand? I mean, let's get it. He is the greatest wrestler of all time, but he's in his 70s. But I have saw some of his workouts, and they're pretty intense. But let's be honest here, Chris. I mean, I just don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where either, Tony. I guess only time will tell. I mean, when we originally started talking about this, his opponent was going to be Steamboat. Steamboat was asked. Flair knows what he's getting into there. Then it was jumped over. Maybe it's Steamboat and Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson in a 6-man. Then maybe it was Sting jumping in instead of Steamboat. Steamboat said no, and now it's just taken a turn. I believe Jeff Jarrett is 55 or 56. I mean, 55 or 56 is still that kind of age. You're in your mid-50s.
Right.
Flair is in his early 70s. Obviously his, Andrade, his son-in-law, it's very young. And then you got Jay Lethal. You're good. It's going to be interesting how this plays out. I mean, I don't know. Are they using a 16-foot ring for this show, an 18-foot, a 20-footer, which the WWE uses a 20-footer? I mean, that could play a role in this thing as well. I mean, there's a big difference between a 16-foot squared circle and an 18 and 20-foot squared circle. This could go, who knows? I mean, there could be, and the who's who is going to be there. I heard at one time they were talking about Mike Tyson maybe showing up.
Yeah,
for this thing.
I heard that. Yeah. Well,
so we have heard it all.
Yeah, Tyson's going to be there. Snoop Dogg. I mean, who knows who's going to be there?
I mean, honestly, next I'm waiting to. Either they're going to say Dolly Parton or Reba McEntire is going to be the guest referee. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen in this thing.
But you know something, Chris? Here's something else to think about. Okay, so Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal have jumped on Ric Flair in a parking lot.
Right.
What they've done is something that the Horsemen done back in the 80s. You think about the time that the Horsemen jumped Dusty Rhodes in the parking lot. Well, they broke his arm. All Jeff Jarrett and AJ Lethal done was, bust Flair up a little bit and make him bleed. They didn't break his arm. They didn't break his leg. They didn't break anything.
Well, that's not going to keep him out of the ring.
Right. But here's the thing that they need to think about. Guess who else is going to be in Nashville? The Four Horsemen are going to be there. I'm talking about Barry Windham, Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson. They're all going to be there. And if I was Jeff Jarrett, I don't care how old the Horsemen are. They are the masters of sneak attacks, get you when you're not looking, when you least expect it. I think Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal have bit off more than they can chew on this one.
Well, that's right, and you're going to have heels and baby faces from decades back at this event, whether it's to sign autographs, take pictures, get a peek, just to be in the building, whatever their involvement is in this thing. It's going to be big, and it's going to be real big, both for Nashville, for the arena, and for what they do on pay-per-view, and this is going to be talked about for a long time. Ric Flair is the dirtiest player in the game.
Yeah.
He's going to need all his tricks in his arsenal to hang in there. And his biggest challenge is going to be the clock.
Yeah.
This is not going to be Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat going 60 minutes here, and then, oh, by the way, put 5 more minutes on the clock after you hit 60.
That's not happening.
No. So, this is going to be an interesting match. I mean, this is going to be, it's going to be a great match. It's going to be a historic match. I don't believe it's going to be the best match on the show by any means. There's probably going to be some great undercard talent here that could steal the show. So, it's going to be a lot of eye watching to this, and I really hope that this is Flair's last match, and they're not going to pull some stunt down the road. I just don't think that this is the right city for this event to take place, personally. But it's going to happen in Nashville. I think there could have been some stronger cities like maybe Greensboro, North Carolina, Charlotte, Atlanta, where there was a lot of history with the NWA and Ric Flair. But it's going to happen in Nashville. So let it be. I just hope they don't try to, because Ric Flair's not getting any younger either. So,
right, exactly.
I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at with it. It's going to make for some great human interest. That's for sure.
Yeah, it definitely is, and I can't wait to see the outcome of this. And we're just like a little over than a week away. So definitely stay tuned to find out. For Nashville, what do they call Nashville? What, Country Music USA or Music City? Music City USA.
Well, next weekend, at least for the last weekend in July of 2022, for that weekend, it will be Wrestling City USA between the Ric Flair last match. The WWE is in town, and Tony, we just found out New Japan Pro Wrestling is in town with an afternoon matinee show next Saturday, as well, with their American roster and talent. So, wow, there's a lot going on in Nashville next week. And if you're a wrestling fan living there or a wrestling fan traveling there, you won't have to look far to get your wrestling fix Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and the last weekend in July.
Yeah, it's gonna be on fire. I'm definitely looking forward to it. And so next week, fans, when you tune in to the Bengebuster Show, Chris and I are going to be discussing the first ever Ric Flair match that we saw live. Whenever we were kids, we're going to be talking about that, and then talking more Ric Flair memories that Chris and I have experienced over the years. That's going to be happening on next week's podcast. Chris, do you have anything before we go off the air today? I don't know what's going to happen. We had the Black Scorpion come on. Who knows who knows might show up next week.
I wasn't expecting all that, Tony, with the Black Scorpion did arrive. I'm sure we'll have a special guest or two, if not next week, some weeks coming down the line here. And, hey, we're in the heat of the summer here, and wrestling's on fire, the music scene's on fire, and whether you're watching a local band, a local independent wrestling show, or you're going to something like the stadium tour or national wrestling and pay-per-view events or anything in between, just get on out, see what's going on. There's really almost something for everyone these days.
Yeah, for sure. And let's try to put COVID behind us and just get out there and rock out and have a good time. Spend time with your family and your friends. I promise you, you definitely won't be disappointed, because I know we sure wouldn't. Where were we, Chris?
Oh, no, not at all. It was a great, great time to be at Bank of America Stadium, and I was just tickled pink to be out there and to see this and to really any show that is, Tony, and just to be out there, breathe in the air, enjoy, live life, still be safe about it, be cautious, know your surroundings, but at the same time, have a good time, and take it one day at a time.
For sure, it's going to be great. Well, fans, that's going to wrap us up this week for the Bengebuster Show. Make sure you tune in next week, as we're going to talk more Ric Flair memories, and of course, I'm sure we'll be talking some music as well. All that's coming up next week here on the Bengebuster Show.
Thank you for listening to the Bengebuster Show. Make sure you like us on Facebook and download us on your favorite podcast platform.